Buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving into a film that really makes you think replicas.
Yeah, this one's a wild ride. It takes us right to the edge of what's possible with science and then asks, should we even be doing this?
Exactly, and I think that's what makes it so gripping. So let's set the stage. Replicas centers on William Foster.
A brilliant neuroscientist.
Right, but his world is turned upside down when he loses his family in a terrible accident.
And that's where the story takes this fascinating turn. Instead of just grieving, Foster decides he's going to bring them back.
But not just like, bringing their bodies back. He wants to bring back their consciousnesses, their personalities, everything that made them them.
And that's where the film really starts to dig into some profound questions about what consciousness actually is.
Can it be replicated?
Can we really transfer the essence of a person into a new body?
And the film doesn't shy away from the technical side of things either. We see Foster using this incredibly advanced technology.
Mapping neural pathways, trying to recreate memories and experiences.
It really makes you consider whether a person is more than just the sum of their parts.
Right. Is there something unique about each individual that can't be captured or copied?
And of course, there's the corporation that Foster works for. They see his research as a golden ticket to profit and control.
Not so much about healing or compassion.
Exactly. They're more interested in weaponizing this technology or maybe even finding a way to cheat death for the right price.
So we've got this grieving scientist pushing the boundaries of science, a corporation with a very different agenda, and this huge question hanging over everything. Can consciousness truly be replicated?
And just when you think you're starting to wrap your head around it, all the film throws this massive curveball. We discover that Foster himself might be a replica.
Whoa.
Yeah, talk about a mind-blowing twist. It makes you reevaluate everything you thought you knew about him and his motivations.
Is he really driven by love for his family, or is he just following some pre-programmed script?
And it brings up this whole other layer of questions about identity and free will.
If Foster is a replica, does he even have control over his own choices?
And what about the replicas of his family?
Even if they have the same memories and personalities, are they truly free, or are they just living out someone else's design?
Replicas throws all of these questions at you without offering easy answers. It really gets under your skin and makes you think long after the credits roll.
And that's why we wanted to dive into it today, because these aren't just questions for science fiction. They're questions that are becoming more relevant every day as technology continues to advance.
And I think Replicas gives us a powerful glimpse into a future that might not be so far away.
A future where the lines between human and machine are becoming increasingly blurred, and we have to grapple with the implications of what we create.
Wow.
But you know what else really gets me about this film is that it isn't just about the science, it's about the human story behind it.
Oh, totally. It's about grief and loss, and that deep need to connect with the people we love.
Exactly. And Foster's desperation is palpable. He's so driven by his need to bring his family back that he's willing to do almost anything.
Even if it means breaking the rules, or even putting others at risk.
Right, and that's where things start to get really ethically complicated. Is there a point where love becomes an excuse to do things we wouldn't normally do?
It makes you question your own values. What would you be willing to sacrifice to bring back someone you've lost? Would you cross those lines?
Tough questions. And I think that's what makes the film so powerful. It forces you to confront those gray areas where there are no easy answers.
And it also really makes you think about the replicas themselves. I mean, they're not just empty shells. They have emotions, they form relationships. They seem to experience the world in a way that suggests genuine consciousness.
That's the big question, isn't it? If these replicas are truly sentient beings, do they deserve the same rights and respect as any other human?
It challenges our whole understanding of what it means to be human. If consciousness can exist in a form that's not biologically born, does that change how we should treat them?
Definitely makes you rethink things, especially with how fast AI and biotechnology are advancing replicas. Almost feels like a preview of the ethical dilemmas we might be facing soon.
Yeah, it's like a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
But it also raises questions about identity. If we can replicate someone's memories and personality, have we actually recreated that person? Or is there something more that makes each individual irreplaceable?
That's the age-old debate, nature versus nurture. Is it our genetics, our experiences, our souls? What makes us truly unique?
The film doesn't answer those questions definitively, but it definitely makes you ponder them.
And that's what good science fiction does, right? It takes these big complex ideas and presents them in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Absolutely. We get caught up in the story and the characters,
Hmm.
but we're also left with these lingering questions about the nature of life, death, and consciousness itself.
And that's where Replicas really shines. It's not just about the special effects or the action, it's about exploring the human side of these scientific advancements.
And those human questions are what make this film so relevant to our lives today. We're all facing these choices about how technology is shaping our world and who's ultimately controlling it.
Right. It's not just a story about a scientist and his family. It's a reflection of our own anxieties and hopes about the future.
But, amidst all the ethical dilemmas and corporate greed, Replicas also offers a glimmer of hope.
Oh, so.
It suggests that even with all the potential downsides, technology could also help us cope with loss and find new ways to connect with those we've lost.
I see what you mean. Like maybe there's a way to use technology to heal wounds and preserve memories without necessarily trying to recreate life itself.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between embracing the possibilities of science while also respecting the boundaries of what makes us human.
Yeah, and that's a conversation we need to keep having. As technology evolves, we have to make sure we're using it to enhance our lives, not diminish them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, one of the elements that really adds to the complexity of Replicas is how it portrays the role of the corporation in all of this.
Oh, yeah. They're a great example of how scientific progress can be driven by motives that aren't always pure.
Right. Their focus is on profit and control. They see Foster's work as a way to gain power and wealth, not so much about helping people.
And that's a scary thought, isn't it? That these groundbreaking discoveries could end up in the hands of people who are more interested in exploiting them than using them for good.
It feels very relevant to what we're seeing today with big tech companies and their influence on our lives.
Totally. It makes you wonder who's really in control. Are we shaping technology or is technology shaping us?
And Replicas really forces us to confront that question. It's a wake-up call to be more aware of how corporate interests can influence scientific advancements and the potential consequences that come with that.
Right. We can't just blindly embrace progress. We have to be critical thinkers and ask ourselves who benefits from these technologies and who might be left behind.
But, even with all the darkness and the corporate greed, Replicas still manages to capture a sense of wonder about what science can achieve.
I think that's what makes it so compelling. It acknowledges the potential dangers, but it also celebrates the ingenuity and the drive to push boundaries.
It's a reminder that we live in a time of incredible possibilities. Things that were once pure science fiction are becoming reality.
And that's both exciting and a little bit terrifying, isn't it?
Absolutely. We're on the verge of a new era, and Replicas gives us a glimpse into what that era might look like, both the good and the bad.
It's a call to action in a way. It's saying, hey, we need to start thinking about these things now before it's too late.
Right. We need to have these debates about the ethics of technology and the kind of future we want to create. And Replicas is the perfect starting point for those conversations.
Totally. It's not just a film. It's a catalyst for a much bigger discussion.
And that's why we wanted to bring it to you today. Because these aren't just abstract ideas. They're real questions that we all need to be grappling with as we move forward into this increasingly complex world. So we've really dug deep into Replicas, haven't we? We've explored the science, the ethics, the emotional roller coaster that this film takes you on.
It's been quite a journey. From those mind-blowing concepts of consciousness transfer to the darker side of corporate ambition, Replicas throws so much at you.
And it leaves you with this lingering sense of unease, like you've just glimpsed a future that's both exhilarating and terrifying.
Exactly. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about life, death, and what it means to be human in a world where technology has so much power.
But now we want to shift gears a bit and open up the floor to you, our listener.
Yeah.
Because the deep dive isn't just about us sharing our thoughts. It's about creating a space for a larger conversation.
Right. We want to hear what you took away from this film. What resonated with you the most?
Did you find yourself sympathizing with Foster and his desperate attempts to bring back his family? Or did you feel like he crossed a line that shouldn't be crossed?
Did the film make you question the nature of consciousness itself? Like, can we truly replicate a person's essence, or is there something more, something intangible that science can't capture?
And what about the corporation's role in all of this? Did their pursuit of profit and control make you think about the real-world implications of scientific advancements and who ultimately benefits from them?
We'd love to hear your perspective, your interpretation, your personal connection to the themes that Replicas explores.
Because these are questions that deserve to be discussed and debated long after the credits roll. They're questions that are becoming more and more relevant as technology continues to evolve at an unprecedented pace.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into replicas, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. If you had the power to bring back a loved one as a replica, would you?
And if so, at what cost?
Yeah.
What ethical lines would you be willing to cross? Where do you draw the boundary between honoring someone's memory and attempting to recreate them?
These are the questions that Replicas forces us to confront, and they're questions that we'll need to grapple with as we navigate the future of science and technology.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and debate. We hope this deep dive has sparked some new ideas and perhaps even challenged some of your assumptions.
Because ultimately, that's what we're all about. Encouraging you to think critically, to engage with the world around you, and to never stop questioning the boundaries of what's possible.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep imagining, and keep diving deep into the worlds that science fiction opens up for us. Because those worlds might not be so fictional after all.